Hello, everyone on Patreon. Thank you so much for voting this month on a bonus movie review. The winner this month is Bunny Lake is Missing from 1965. This was directed by Otto Preminger and it starred Keir Dullea, Carol Lynley, and Laurence Olivier. The plot, according to IMDb, is a woman reports that her young daughter is missing, but there seems to be no evidence that she ever existed. I've seen this once before, and what I remember about it was not being incredibly impressed. And when I saw it again, I was really enjoying it, and I thought, well, why was I not too impressed with this the first time around? And then I realized that it's got this great first half, and then for me, the second half it goes downhill in a certain way because for me it just doesn't really add up. Psychologically speaking, I think it was way too far fetched, and I'll get into that in a second. But the style of the film is incredible. I mean, a lot of people feel that this is a neo noir, and it feels that way. I mean, it's got the cinematography, the use of lights and shadows, low key lighting. It looks and feels, and the theme certainly. It's psychologically driven. It's cynical. It's sinister. It's scary. It's nerve wracking. There's a crime involved. It feels that way. So, but this is not a neo noir or not video. I don't know if I would say it's a neo noir. I would say for me, it has elements of that, but it really is a psychological thriller to me. And so the first half of the film, this woman, she moves to England with her daughter. She's drops her off at school. The can't find the classroom, and so she leaves her with the cook. The cook is very strange woman. I wouldn't have trusted that cook. And then the cook says, "Well, go ahead, leave, and I'll bring her to class because the class was at recess or something." And so she leaves, and then when she goes to pick the daughter up, the daughter's not there. They can't find her, and so this investigation happens. Laurence Olivier, the cop, gets called in, and so it's all being investigated, and it's procedural, and I was enjoying it. I thought, okay, well, I cared about the characters. I was worried about the child. I at first thought that the Keir Dullea, I hope I'm saying his name right. I thought that they were husband and wife with Carol Lynley, and then you find out that they're siblings, and actually they look like siblings. I mean, I thought it was cast really, really well, and Olivier begins to, as the superintendent Newhouse, he begins to suspect that perhaps this child doesn't exist, that they have made this up, which is intriguing. Now, of course, the question is why, and they begin to dig and go into that. I also like that everybody at the school, which is maybe this is a neo noir, all the people at the school, they seem to be bothered by the fact that this woman was missing, and they were sort of like openly annoyed with the uncle and the mother, and they weren't helpful at all. And it was just this apathy, which of course you see in a lot of noirs and neo noirs, and I just was kind of found their behavior repulsive. Like, this woman is, you think, like, yeah, because they were getting mad at them, but you think that you wouldn't get mad back. Like, you think you would be empathetic. Anna Massey played that really well, who plays one of the people at the school. She's getting mad right back at them, and I'm like, well, what do you? Of course, these people are furious. The child that they dropped off at a school is now gone. So again, just performance-wise and character-wise, I thought that was really, really interesting. But it's, so this investigation proceeds, and there's enough doubts that come to play that this is perhaps made up, and you find out that as the cop who Olivier plays, the superintendent Newhouse, he begins to dig into their past and ask them questions. And, that their father had died when they were young, and she had an imaginary friend with the same name, Bunny. Bunny is not the child's real name. It's also interesting that at the beginning of the film, you never see the child. I mean, she says that she's there with the child, that she's there to drop off the child, but you don't see the child. So you as the audience are like, okay, where is this going? Did they make it up because it's something psychological here? There's some mental health issues. There's also this element of, did the brother do it, or did the landlord do it? Because someone who lives in the school, lives above the school, says to Laurence Olivier, "Oh, he seemed more concerned with his sister than he did with finding the child." And he's the one who brought them there. He's the one who's really taking care of everything for them. He takes care of everything for his sister. He's very protective of his sister. And so there's all these things. You're like, okay, well, what happened here? Then eventually, their apartment, their flat was robbed. And you're like, okay, well then this was certainly a calculated plan. Why would people go take all her things, all the child's things, the toys and everything, and then take the child from the school? So you begin to think that perhaps it's the landlord, because this creepy landlord who, once he finds out that the child is missing, he's just flirting with Carol Lynley as Anne Lake. And it's so creepy. I mean, that, again, very neo-noir-like, apathy and selfish interests. I hope this isn't turning into a neo-noir or not. But yes, it does certainly have neo-noir aspects to it. So you're like, okay, where is this going? And then of course it eventually, Olivier, it's interesting because he gets sick of everything. He begins to believe they made it up. And there's no evidence of this child at all, that this child existed, not registered at the school. The brother says they must have thrown the registration card out because they don't want to get blamed for this. And so he looks as though he's going to give up. And then suddenly he doesn't. He's back on it. He goes to find the train tickets for when they came from America to England. And so he's back on it. And the brother, again, he begins to think that him and his sister can do this on their own. And she is really worried that now the cops are going to give up and drop the investigation. And then she remembers, oh, I have the ticket proof that they brought to a toy store to repair a doll. They go to the store, they find the doll, they get the receipt, so they have proof that the child existed. And then the brother, this is when the brother did it, because it's very scary shot as it zooms right into his face as he burns the doll on fire. He sets it on fire and he knocks his sister out. So right there, it's him, which was kind of predictable, because I thought either they made it up or the brother did it. And of course the brother did it. Now, why is the brother doing this? Psychologically speaking, it was pretty simple and clear. I mean, he was so protective of the sister. Overall, you also find out that he didn't want his sister to marry the man who got her pregnant when because she's very, very young. So again, he was possessive, and now why kidnap the daughter? He's get rid of the daughter so it can go back to the way things were with the sister, and so it has this incestuous, dark feel to it, of course. And so why I found that troubling is because if he is that mentally disturbed, he also had a really good job. And I thought, how can someone be that mentally disturbed, but yet carry on so professionally speaking? But now, as I say it out loud, you do hear that a lot. He could have a good job and be normal in front of other people, but have something seriously wrong with him. So that clears that up for me. But what really I found troublesome is that once she realizes that it's him who did it, he brings her to the hospital. She escapes the hospital. She finds him, and this is where it's certainly revealed that they have not made it up. He opens the trunk of his car. There's a little girl. This is the first time we've seen the little girl. And so, you think, well, how are you going to get your daughter back from him? And what I found strange was that Anne, the sister of Stephen, she knew exactly how to handle him. She handled him so well. She was like, she turned everything into a game. Like when they were kids, she's like, I don't want to play this game anymore. Let's do this. Let's do that. And so she knew how to get to him to distract him. And then, of course, manages to do so until the cops show up and they take him away. But I just thought, okay, if you knew that your brother, she knew he had some severe psychological, violent problems. And why would you move to England to live near or with him, where he's taking care of all your affairs? She clearly knew he was seriously troubled. Now, is she denying that because she loved the brother so much? Did she not think that his problems were so severe? How did she know how to handle him so well in the end? You would think that if you maybe had some kind of idea that there was something wrong with your brother, but you would still be, viciously freaking out over what he's doing and attack him or something, or call the cops. I mean, she knew how to deal with him so well that it just didn't make sense. I thought either he's done something like this before or she's just a genius because I thought, how could you do that under these circumstances? So in such a capable way, it just didn't make sense. Like, I think what would have worked. I think what's missing really is more of getting into their relationship. Maybe if the audience had known that she knew there was something wrong with him, but she had denied it perhaps in the past, or she just was, maybe had to move there why was she moving there? Maybe there was a reason she had to move there. Maybe she was there to take care of him. I don't know. I mean, I can't, I can't be saying what I would do, or because you get the finished film and you have to critique it. So I don't know necessarily how it could have been worked out better, but what I believe is that you have this great premise, and it just was a letdown because I just afterwards think, what? Like, how could this add up? It just didn't work for me. I just thought it didn't make much sense that this was the way things were, not necessarily the way it was unfolding, but the way in which she was reacting to him towards the end in such a capable fashion, even though here you are with this guy who's about to kill your daughter. How could she not have known about him? Again, we needed something. Something was needed there that was just didn't quite work. So it's a shame because it's so strong emotionally and visually, and the performances, and it's got some really interesting dynamics, and they're dark, sinister themes and relationships, and this incestuous relationship between the brother and sister. I thought Olivier was great. He was very confident and calm as the Superintendent Newhouse. All the characters in the school, their apathy, their annoyance, their just the bleakness of it all. The landlord. I mean, it's just, to me, it's almost like, this could have been really great. I know a lot of people love this movie. I was just reading online, but it just didn't add up for me. I just think there was too many things that just really, really didn't work. So I'm glad I saw it again, and maybe I'm missing something. So comment below. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you think of this film, or if anything I'm saying resonated with you, or any sort of plot holes that I've brought up were also plot holes you saw. Maybe there's some kind of justification in all this that you saw that I can't see. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. But it is worth seeing, I feel. Preminger is a great filmmaker. Fantastic performances. It's certainly interesting. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. Thank you so much for voting. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.